Welcome back. With a mission to address food insecurity, organization Rap4Bronx provides services and opportunities to create sustainable, healthy futures for Bronx residents. Joining me to further discuss their effort is Director for Rap4Bronx, Shana McCormick. Shana, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Kibin.
Now, can you tell me about your organization, Rap4Bronx?
Sure. So Rap4Bronx is the relief access program for the Bronx. And we were formed during March of 2020, during the height of the pandemic, as a direct response to the sharp rise in food insecurity. And we currently serve about 45 community-based organizations, ranging from faith-based organizations to men's, women, family shelters, senior centers, and NYCHA developments as well. And we distribute prepared meals, grocery items, and also New York State fresh produce.
Now, can you tell us how your organization actually began?
Absolutely. So we started, Rap4Bronx was formed through a group of individuals that formed a task force, and we all came from different restoration and construction companies as a part of one company, or one group of companies rather. And so we had a lot of unique resources that we could tap into, such as fleet. So we had trucks and vehicles to utilize when the city was shut down, and we also had laborers that were laid off and in need of work. So we identified through some partners and people that we knew in the Bronx the need for last mile delivery and for food assistance. And so we thankfully had the fleet and the drivers to be able to help fill that gap. So we all got together, we had this task force, we connected with different community boards in the Bronx, some other pantries, and we started serving anywhere between 10 to 12 CBOs, community-based organizations, in the very beginning of the pandemic. And then it just really grew from there, but we really were able to tap into some amazing resources to help us fill those gaps.
Now, can you actually tell me what was it like working through the pandemic? I know that was a really rough time for people who were struggling with, getting access to food.
Yes, it's really hard to describe it in words, to be honest, but I have to say, there's usually always a negative connotation to the pandemic, which rightfully so, but working during the pandemic and on the ground really helped restore my hope in humanity. We had a lot of amazing volunteers and people on the ground helping to fill in these gaps and take care of each other and take care of our neighbors in need. And also taking care of each other in the sense when we were feeling burnt out from volunteer fatigue, et cetera. But working during the pandemic was nonstop. It was 24/7. We were awaiting phone calls for donations and trying to orchestrate deliveries, the logistics part, and then organizing volunteers, getting deliveries and trailer loads of food, and then trying to break that down and further the distribution. There was a lot of lessons learned, but it was also a great experience working with and meeting so many amazing people in this space, in this food relief space as well.
And I feel like I can understand what you mean because I know for like during the pandemic, we did see so much, just people being a really good neighbor. And we saw like food pantries, like more food pantries, community fridges. So I definitely understand what you mean. Just by seeing that, it was kind of like a good thing to see despite, so much, despite being in a dark time. Now, your organization started off delivering meals and groceries, but you've grown to support the community in other ways. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we still have a very robust distribution program going, obviously. So as I mentioned, we have 45 community-based organizations that we deliver to weekly. So we're reaching about 5,000 individuals a week. And, through the relationships that we've built with the community members, community leaders, we know that, access is a real issue, access to healthy food. So we've tried our best to focus on nutrition education, partnering up with some other organizations like the Sylvia Center, providing free virtual cooking classes for families to tap into. So we work with them. We'll provide a meal kit. So it has all the ingredients that one could need to carry out the recipe, and then they can get online and join in and cook as a family in the comfort of their own homes and learn more about um, healthier eating, healthier options. And we also have our farmers markets to help improve access and engage the community. We engage local chefs to help cook up a meal, utilizing the goods that are at the market. So we really have a focus on not just distributing the goods, but also educating and providing access to healthier goods in the Bronx, which we all know is the unhealthiest county in our state, unfortunately. And I think it's organizations like ours and others that are doing the good work that are really working to help change that.
Now, I think education is so important in this. And unfortunately, I do feel that a lot of people who are struggling may not even know that they're struggling with food insecurity. Can you tell us more about what food insecurity is and how can someone know that they may be living in an area that's affected by it?
Sure. So there are different levels of food. You can be food insecure in the sense that you really genuinely don't know where your next meal is coming from. You're living in extreme poverty, you don't have the resources or the wherewithal to get your next meal. Then there's also, food swamps and food deserts that are directly related to food insecurity, where, you know, individuals may be residing in an area that there's access to food, but it's all fast food. It's unhealthy. There's not access to fresh, nutrient dense goods. And so that then relates to the health of that immediate area. There's many, many pockets and neighborhoods throughout our whole entire city, but especially in the Bronx, that are considered food deserts where there's not access to certain, to foods, or food swamps, even where there's plenty of food around, but it's fried chicken, or it's, not to say fried chicken's bad, but if that's the only option that you have and you don't have the option to access nutrient dense goods, you're considered to be in a food swamp. So there's different levels to food insecurity, but mostly, this city, our city, New York City, 1 in 4 children doesn't know where their next meal is coming from. And that's just not acceptable.
Now, I want to know your opinion. How do you think, just inflation or the rising cost of food, how has that actually made things harder for your organization as well as people, in the Bronx?
Definitely. So we have seen, and that's a great question, because we really have seen over the past couple of months a sharp rise in the need. Whereas, during the height of the pandemic, obviously the need was extremely great. And then thankfully, about a year into after the pandemic, we were able to see some of the need decline, and reduce rather. So, the lines were not as long at a certain point. I would say maybe September 2021 and then into the end of 2021. And then as of the beginning of 2022, with inflation, and also we have more individuals coming into our city that need our care and need access to food as well. Both of those things combined, but specifically inflation, has really made it a little bit more difficult for households to, to figure out where their next meals are coming from or budget. Majority of those that we serve are also on a fixed income. So they're either, receiving benefits, SNAP benefits, and those benefits are set, or they're seniors on a fixed income on Social Security, those benefits are set. So the cost of food is going up, the cost of living is going up, but the benefits that they're receiving are not lining up with that. And so it's making things a lot more difficult.
Now, your goal is to build bridges for communities to access sustainably healthy futures. Why is this so important to ensure healthy food is sustainable for Bronxites?
So it's definitely important for us to be able to sustain and provide sustainable access to healthier, nutrient goods, if we want to change the health outcomes for the borough of the Bronx. So continuously coming in as number 62, the last and unhealthiest county in our state. If we want to change those health outcomes, we have to ensure that there's a sustainable method in place to provide access along with education on healthier eating, healthier habits, if we really want to see those outcomes change. So it's really important for us to stay consistent and to provide sustainable ways of providing access to nutrient goods for our community.
Now, I also love that your organization hosts farmers market pop-up events. I think they're so cute. I see them online all the time, and it's nice to have something like that in the Bronx. Can you tell us about that a little bit more?
Sure. So we have our free farmers markets that are held in conjunction with the Bronx River Alliance's free community paddles. Currently, they're being held at Starlight Park, which is off Sheridan. And that information can be found on our website and also on our Instagram, which I'm sure we'll give to you guys to share with the community. But it really started, I had a connection and conversations with one of the members from the Bronx River Alliance about a foodway that's nearby near Concrete Plant Park. We got to talking and I'm like, hey, it'd be great to start a market. And he's like, I have the perfect location. So we set up our market there. So we have a couple of different items, New York State fresh produce that we bring down. And then we also have a local chef on site with us that will cook something up utilizing the goods that are on the table that are at the market. And sometimes we'll give out the recipes for the goods that are provided, but it's a really fun time for the community to come out. It's a free event. Kids love to come. You can take home some fresh produce. You can stop by and see the chef and taste what they're cooking up, learn a little bit about cooking a little bit healthier if you want to give that a try, and just learn some new things, and then also get on the Bronx River and enjoy that paddle.
Now, I want to touch on something that's super important, and that's volunteer work. That's a huge part of your organization. Can you let everybody know what are the qualities that make a good volunteer for Rap4Bronx?
Dedication, dedication, and not being afraid of challenge. So we have had some really amazing volunteers come through our doors, especially during the height of the pandemic. And us, like many other organizations and people on the ground, really didn't know what to expect. And so just, always being ready and up for a challenge is one key quality that makes a good volunteer. But dedication, you came to help serve. And so you're going to stay dedicated to see that mission and the task out for the day. And to have a really good attitude. We love to spread and share positivity and love. And so we have a good time. We've had some really fun times in our warehouse packing out pantry bags. And so, the markets are a really great time, a lot of great community engagement. I feel like everybody gets to leave with a smile, a good bag of fresh veggies, something in there. It's a good time.
That's awesome. Now, how can people stay up to date with your organization?
So we can be visited. You can visit the website. So our website is www.rap, the number 4, Bronx.org. Or on Instagram, we're very active in posting what events are coming up. Any volunteer opportunities can also be found there. So our Instagram handle is Rap4Bronx, RAP, the number 4, Bronx.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
That's all for our show today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kibin Alleyne, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.